So let's take the anthem. We take the third stanza of the national anthem. I will raise it and then all of us sing along. O God of creation, grant this our one request. Want to go?
Oh God of creation, grant this our one request.
Wrong tone. It's wrong.
Wrong tune. O God of creation, O God.
That's it. That's right.
Help us to build a nation and no man is oppressed. And so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. Thank you.
Yes.
So before we continue, just do some bit of introduction. First on the list, we have with us amiable and very dynamic Vice Chancellor, Professor Flora Tobolaifa Oluwafemi. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning to you all.
Registrar. Yes, we also have with us here our university librarian, Dr. Paul Bebenimbo. Welcome,
University
Registrar.
librarian? No.
No, the registrar. The registrar is also here with us, Dr. Paul Bebenimbo.
Thank you, sir. Prof.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
We also have with us our university librarian, Dr. Fatima Abdul Dayan.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Welcome, madam.
Welcome.
Also with us is our guest lecturer for today, Professor Mrs. Gift J. Eke. Can you say hello to us, Prof?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to all. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, my VC. Thank you.
We also recognize our anchor lady from the ICPC, Mrs. Dora.
Good morning,
Greet us,
everybody. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam
Good
Dora.
morning.
Good morning.
Yes, morning.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
You're welcome.
I will be
All
cutting off
distinguished
my...
members.
Hello, hold on a bit. I'll be cutting off my video due to network issues here so that I can hear clearly. With the video, the network is very slow.
No problem.
But I'll be here. All right.
No problem. So we recognize all other persons that are present here, and we say welcome to you all. Quickly, we now invite our Vice Chancellor to give us opening remarks and declare this ceremony open.
Thank you, Prof.
Audio. The audio is down. Oh, audio is down.
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes. We can
Okay,
see you.
good.
Yes, we
Very
can hear
good.
you, ma.
Okay. Once again, I greet all of you, Good morning.
Maybe you put off your video so that the audio will be stronger.
Okay. Off it, yeah. Okay. Is it stronger now?
Yes, it's better.
Thank you very much. I greet all the principal officers here present, deans of faculties, directors, and heads of departments. Our resource person and consultant, Professor Gift Eke, distinguished staff of Nigerian Maritime University, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure and a deep sense of responsibility that I welcome you all to this crucial capacity building workshop on office management protocols and ethics. This training represents a deliberate step towards aligning our administrative and academic workforce with global standards required of a premier institution. As the foundational anchor of Nigeria's blue economy, Nigeria Maritime University Ekeren-Koko cannot afford administrative mediocrity. The efficiency of our staff directly dictates the heights of our institutional success. This training is designed around two non-negotiable areas. One, office management protocols, standardizing our document handling, digital communications, and institutional registries to eliminate administrative bottlenecks. Two, workplace ethics, enforcing absolute transparency, mutual respect, and accountability across all cadres. We must remember that NMU is patterned after paramilitary and regimented traditions. This means our staff must mirror the highest standards of decorum, promptness, and absolute compliance with civil service codes. Public office is a public trust. We are here to serve our students, our cadets, and external maritime stakeholders with seamless world-class efficiency. Continuous capacity building through strategic channels is key. Management is rolling out a state-of-the-art ICT and conference center soon to institutionalize digital workflows. We will continue to prioritize our welfare, but in return, the university demands your total commitment, professionalism, and proactive problem solving. I urge every participant to engage actively with our resource person, internalize these protocols, and integrate them into your daily office routines. It is now my singular honor to declare this training workshop officially open. Thank you, and God bless Nigeria Maritime University, Ekeren-Koko. Thank you.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you, ma. Thank you, ma.
Thank you, ma.
Okay, without wasting time, we quickly move on now to take the citation of the guest lecturer, after which the training proper will begin. So our guest lecturer for today is Professor Gift J. Eke. Professor Gift Eke is a professor of information and communication management at the Nigerian Maritime University. She has over 2 decades of teaching and research experience and has over 59 journal publications and other publications, textbooks and all that. She has taught several courses, supervised several undergraduate and postgraduate students. She has also assessed candidates successfully to the ranks of associate professor and professor. Currently, she is serving as external examiner in the Department of Office and Information Management Technology in Southern Delta University, Ozoro, Nigeria. Professor Eke belongs to several professional bodies and associations related to a field of endeavor, some of which are: 1, Fellow, Institute of Classic Entrepreneurship, Nigeria; member, Nigeria Institute of Management; chartered; member, the Academy of Management, Nigeria; and member, Association of Business Educators of Nigeria, amongst others. Professor Eke started her academic career at the Niger Delta University, starting as an assistant lecturer and growing through the rank. Today, she is going to share with us a wealth of experience in the area of office and information communication. So, Vice Chancellor and other principal officers here, our dear colleagues, let's welcome Professor Gift Eke. Thank you.
You're welcome, Prof.
Prof, you're welcome.
Prof.
Prof, you're highly welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. And yeah, I can hear you all, but you know, the network in Nigeria and especially where I am is not friendly at all. So if you are not seeing my face, you can hear my voice clearly that we are on this training together. Can I go on with the permission that perhaps my video will be going off and on? Can I go on with the teaching, with the lecture right now, with the permission from my VC and the coordinators?
Please go on.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can go on, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. I'm believing that the PowerPoint is already on display. Okay, let me try to on my video. Probably yes. Okay, I come back on my video again. Sorry, just give me some few minutes. We're having some. Okay. I want to share the platform with them so that they can see it.
The slides are already shared, so you can just continue.
Okay, the slides are there. Okay, I can
Yes.
continue. Okay, thank you
Yes.
very much. Okay. Table of content is there already. We are going to be having the introduction, then the concept of office. We will be looking at office management. We will also be looking at objectives of office management, then the functions of office management. We will also consider office management protocols. That is why we are here, and the forms of protocol. Then we're going to be looking at the ethics and the attributes of workplace ethics. Then we'll be looking at integrating office management protocols and ethics, and then considering the benefits of combining the protocols and ethics. And we'll also consider the challenges in applying office protocols and ethics. And then we'll look at the strategies for strengthening office protocols and ethics. And then we will come to the conclusion. And so here we have office organization, whether public, private, commercial, educational, religious, or non-profit, depends on an office system. The office receives and produces information, keeps records, coordinates appointments, supports decisions, communicates with stakeholders, and provides the administrative structure through which organizational objectives are pursued. And we know.
Prof, if you can put off your video.
Okay.
Put off your video so that your voice can come out stronger.
Okay,
Yes.
let me put off my video. Please. Okay, I'll put off my video. So even where employees work remotely, office functions continue through digital platforms, cloud storage, electronic correspondence, virtual meetings, and online workflow systems. The office should therefore be understood not merely as a physical room containing desks and files, but as coordinated administrative system. You know, any office may possess modern equipment, which we know, qualified employees, and adequate financial resources, and still perform poorly if work is not properly organized. If work is not properly organized. If work is not properly organized. And so those are the reasons why we are looking at it, the office management protocols and ethics. I stand here to say that delayed correspondence missing records, careless disclosure of information, and unfair treatment of staff can weaken an organization. Office management is intended to prevent these failures by arranging people, processes, information, and equipment logically. It establishes responsibility, coordinates activities, sets performance standards, and ensures that administrative tasks support wider organizational goals. Orderly procedures alone are nevertheless insufficient. You know, and for that, protocols explain the approved way of carrying out work, while ethics concerns the values and judgments governing how people use authority, information, and resources. Let's go to the next one. Okay, what and where is an office? You know, you look at the first point, you say traditionally the office was seen mainly as a place where clerical duties such as typing, filing, correspondence, and bookkeeping were performed. That view is now too narrow. Office management has grown out of that view. The office performs three broad roles. First, it is an information center. It means it receives information through letters, emails, calls, forms, reports, meetings, and online systems. After which, the information is verified, classified, stored, and distributed. Secondly, the office is a service center where administrative personnel support other departments through scheduling, travel arrangements, procurement, document preparation, and facility management. Thirdly, it is a control center, being that records, reports, approvals, and follow-up systems allow management to determine whether instructions have been carried out and resources used properly. You know, the office also represents the organization to the outsider. The courtesy and accuracy of reception and customer service personnel can shape public confidence. Office work is therefore both operational and reputational. And then we also remember that orderly procedures alone are nevertheless insufficient. Like I said earlier, a procedure may be followed mechanically while its purpose is undermined. An employee may complete the required procurement documents, but secretly favor a relative. A supervisor may enforce attendance rules against junior employees while ignoring similar misconduct by friends. An officer may have a legitimate access to personal files, but use private information for gossip or intimidation. Such examples, you know, demonstrate that office effectiveness, protocols, and ethics. Such protocols explain the approved way of carrying out work, while on the part of ethics, it concerns the values and judgment governing how people use authority, information, and judgment. Okay, we'll go to the next slide. You know, now, yeah, we're talking about information, office management. Office management is the process of planning, organizing, directing, coordinating, and controlling office activities so that administrative services are delivered efficiently and organizational objectives are supported. It involves deciding what work should be performed, how it should be done, who should do it, what resources are required, and how results will be assessed. It also involves improving systems where existing arrangements produce delay, waste, or confusion. And so then we look at office management. Office management combines, you know, three key things: human resource, material, and technological resources. Of course, we know that without human resource in an organization, nothing will happen. And then you have the human resource, you must also have the material and the technology. So when we talk about the human resource, it includes the managers, administrative officers, secretaries, receptionists, record officers, information technology personnel, and clerks. And so then we will also consider the material and technological resources, which include the office space, We also consider the furniture that will be in that space, the stationery, telephones, computers, software, filing systems, and communication platforms. See, except these things are put in place, whatever we are doing in the organization will not really make sense. And then effective management aligns these elements rather than treating them as unrelated resources. We cannot treat them as unrelated resources. Office management is wider than the supervision of clerical workers. It's more than just supervising the clerical workers. It includes workflow design, service quality, compliance, staff development, communication, risk control, and administrative decision making. And then we get to the objectives of office management. You know, the main objective to make administrative work contribute to organizational goals is the reason why we will need to manage what happens in the office, in the organization. The office management seeks efficiency, which we all know, meaning prudent use of time, money, labor, and materials. Nothing is wasted, nothing is misused, as well as effectiveness, meaning achievement of the required results, as well as effectiveness, meaning achievement of the required result. That means we need to, if we have applied all our time, our money, our labor, our material, the outcome must be useful to the organization. And then we look at other objectives are to provide accurate information on time, maintain continuity during absence of a staff or anybody. If one person is not there, that does not mean that work will stop. That does not mean that information distribution will stop, or in case of emergency. And then we protect assets. Our assets must be protected and create a suitable work environment. You know, the environment where the work is being carried out should be suitable for the workers. Standard procedures, shared systems, handover arrangements, authorization limits, inventory records, and access controls help the organization to operating while reducing waste, misuse, and dependence on one employee. If we continue to depend on one particular employee without making adequate arrangement that in case something happens and this person is not there, what will happen to the work that is being done by that person? And so we make those arrangements. The next thing we'll be looking at is the functions of office management. Of course, we know that planning is part of one function. We organize, we also staff, we also direct and coordinate and control. And so when we talk about planning, this involves defining expected outcomes, forecasting administrative needs, and determining the methods and resources required. We must plan for these things if we want our offices to run effectively. And then organizing. This involves dividing work, grouping related duties, and establishing clear reporting and approval relationships. See, organizing prevents duplication, unnecessary delays, and confusion over responsibilities. Once we organize, we will not have those issues of unnecessary delays, confusion, over responsibilities. You know where you stand. You know what to do at any time. You know your responsibility. You are not encroaching over to the other person's responsibility. And then we have the staff. This covers recruitment, placement, induction, training, appraisal, and development of office personnel. You know, from time to time, recruitment will be done. And then we'll place the people that we have recruited, employed, into their rightful placement. And then we'll also give induction so that they will be familiarized with what is happening around there. And then we'll keep training, and then we appraise them, how far they have performed, maybe for promotion, maybe to know how what they are doing is bringing success to the organization. And then development of the office personnel. Then we'll go to directing. When we come to directing, it involves giving guidance, communicating standards, motivating employees, and resolving work difficulties. See, employees should receive understandable instructions and adequate support to complete their assignment. If this is lacking and they are not doing well, that is, we are not going to blame anybody. But if the management has done, its part, and then the employees will also follow. And then we also have coordination. This ensures that separate office activities fit together, and then we have the control. This involves setting standards, comparing performance with expectations, and correcting weaknesses. See, control should not be understood only as punishment. Its main purpose is to identify problems and improve performance. That is the proper thing to do in an organization. Because if you control somebody just to punish, that means what the assignment given to that person can never be accomplished successfully. And so the main purpose is to identify the problems. If the person is not functional, is not coming forth with the assignment given to the person, we should try and find out what is the problem, and also bring out, find solution to the problem so that the person can improve in his or her performance. And then we get to office management protocols. Office management protocols, I said office management protocols are established procedures specifying how recurring administrative activities should be performed. They turn broad policies into practical steps. See, a policy may state that confidential information must be protected, while a protocol explains who may access that information, how it should be stored, how disclosure is authorized, and what actions should follow a breach, in case there is a breach, in case somebody is doing what is not authorized to do. And then we have protocols. Again, protocols may be contained in staff handbooks, standard operating procedures, circulars, workflow charts, codes of conduct, security rules, emergency plans, and departmental manuals. See, some of these, originate from law and professional regulations, while others are developed internally. Either ways, they should be clear, whether it is in the laws or as a result of your profession, those ethics are developed, those policies are developed. They should be clear, accessible, realistic, and consistent with the organizational original objectives. And then protocols reduce uncertainty. That is why we talk about protocols. Protocols reduce uncertainty, prevent avoidable errors, and make service consistent. They are especially important when tasks pass between employees. Evidence may later be required, or an error could create financial, legal, safety, or reputational harm to the organization. And so we are trying to avoid all these things so that the person who is handling any sort of work or information in the organization must be held responsible. Must be held responsible. So, and the next slide we'll be looking at is forms of protocols. We have one, communication protocols. Communication protocols regulate how information is transmitted within and outside an organization. See, they may specify acceptable channels, because communication, you must have specified channels. In the organization, there are patterns that communication must flow through, and the acceptable channels must be indicated. Response times will be indicated. Approval acquirements, that is, if you are communicating, you want to send out an information, there must be an approval. You know, there must be a writing standard and escalation procedures. When you have sent out a message, the acceptance escalate the period where that information must return back with the required result. And then we have the record and document management protocols. Records management protocols govern the creation, naming, classification, storage, retrieval, retention, and disposal of documents. Records provide evidence of decisions, transactions, responsibilities, and organizational history. That is why we keep records. And records are maintained for as long as the organization is in existence, except the ones that, like in our institutions, we know, like student exam booklets, we'll keep them for a period. And then after we have accreditation and we know that those booklets are no longer useful, then with the authority from the management, they will discard those documents. Otherwise, they will keep them for future reference. And then we have workflow. We have the workflow delegation, authorization protocols. You know, the workflow protocols show how tasks move from initiation to completion. See, filing structures should be logical and consistent, so authorized users can retrieve information without depending on one person's memory. Retention schedules should state how long records are kept, like I explained earlier, and when they are reviewed and when they are to be reviewed or destroyed. You know, when we talk about records are very important. Access to record should be based on responsibility and legitimate use. We cannot allow just anyone to access our records in our organization. There are people that, have the responsibility to access our records and, do justice with it. Personnel records, medical information, financial records, and strategic documents should not be available to every employee. Where a file is removed or transferred, the movement should be recorded to prevent loss. Because if a file is moving from one office to the other, there must be a record of movement. Who came for that file? What was the reason? What time? Where is the file going to? And we need to have all those records. And then you look at workflow. Okay, that is what I was just talking about. We talk about the workflow protocols. The workflow protocols, workflow shows how tasks move from one person to the other person in order to complete the process. They identify the steps. In a workflow, the steps must be identified. Responsible officers must be indicated. Deadlines must be assigned. Approvals and expected outcomes. See, a visible workflow reduces unauthorized shortcuts and makes responsibility easier to trace. If need be, and you want to know who is handling this work, if you have a visible workflow, it will reduce argument and beginning to wonder about everything is direct. Workflow should be designed to reduce unnecessary movements. Workflow are designed to reduce or avoid unnecessary movements and repeat approval without weakening control. Excessive, complicated procedures may delay service. Without delay service and encourage employees to bypass the system, which we try to avoid. That is why we manage the office when it comes to record, when it comes to the individual, when it comes to information. The organization should therefore balance speed with accountability. And then we have, meetings and meetings and appointment protocols. When we talk about the meetings and appointment protocols, we are saying that protocols should cover notice, agenda, papers, attendance, participation, decisions, and minutes. See, meetings consume organizational time, we know, and should have a clear purpose. If you are calling for a meeting, we know that this is the reason why a meeting is called. It must have a clear purpose. Protocols should cover, like the things I have already mentioned. The chairperson should keep discussion focused and clearly state assigned actions. See, when we talk about appointment calendars should be accurate, promptly updated, and protected according to sensitivity. Employees responsible for appointment should avoid double booking and promptly communicate postponement or cancellations. There are times that management, the key personnel in our management would want to travel and you book the appointment and there's a cancellation. That information should be passed promptly to avoid misunderstanding. They should not misuse privileged access to schedule or to schedules or private activities of senior officers. We should avoid that. And then we talk about visitors, we talk about customer service protocols. See, reception protocols should balance courtesy with safety and confidentiality. Visitors may require to identify themselves. You don't just allow visitors to walk into your office, the reception arena, and then without you investigating the man or the woman, the purpose for which the person is there, and allow the person to walk into the boss's office. It is never done. It's not allowed. And now that we have security issues in the country now, we should be more careful. We should be more careful. And then, you know, explain their purpose. Those people, whoever that is coming to the office must explain their purpose, sign in, and remain in approved areas. See, they will be shown a place to sit while you pass the information to the person the visitor has come to see. Employees should confirm appointments before allowing access to restricted areas. Any person who is coming to the office, they need to confirm whether the person is allowed to come in before the person can be allowed into restricted areas. We don't just walk into every area or places in an office. When we talk about customer service, employees should listen, provide accurate information, avoid unrealistic promises, record unresolved matters, and explain the next step. The complaints should not be dismissed. If somebody walks into your office and he came with complaint, you can't just dismiss that. You need to listen and take record, and so that that complaint or that problem that the person came with can be resolved amicably. You know, and again, relationship reasons, you know, reasonable support should be available for visitors. Reasonable support should be made available to all visitors. In fact, sometimes we have disabled people coming to our offices. You know, you need to ensure that the purpose, the reason why they are there, you don't turn them back. They must also have their way to see the staff. If they have checked that, yes, the person is meant to see the boss or the whoever is coming to see in the office, staff should avoid discriminatory treatment based on appearance. You don't just look at somebody because the person is not, you know, looking the way you think the person should look and discriminate such person. The office is an open place. People will come, and then all you need to do is to give them attention. And then also, you don't look at social status. This person is more higher than the other person, so I should give preference to this person. Is not done. You know, and then gender disability. There are some people in the office, you know, there was one office that sometimes somebody said, you are just a woman. No, that cannot be said. Just a woman should not be used in an environment. If that woman is there for a purpose, you allow that purpose to go through. And then we also have religion and personal familiarity. Is that person, because that person worship in the same place with you, that means that person is a better person, or that person is the one you will allow to do business in your organization. Is not right. And then we go to information security and digital office protocols. Digital offices create speed. Of course, we know. Since we left the analog and then we are now operating the digital offices, we have speed and flexibility, but also expose organizations to data loss, unauthorized access, fraud, and cyber attack. These things are happening, you know, they are happening. So we need to check out, watch out for all these information security protocols should address passwords, user access, software protection, device use, and backups, remote work, email attachment, cloud storage, and incident reporting. See, access should be based on job requirements rather than rank or curiosity. Even if the person is the boss and the person does not have access to that information, the person cannot come and tell the person who is in charge to say that, hey, I'm the boss, I must have access. No. Once you do not have access, don't insist, because there are a lot of things that are happening because of digital office. We have cyber attacks everywhere. We have frauds, and that is why we need to safeguard, double our security to protect, so that unauthorized users, unauthorized people will not just walk into our office or organization space. And then we also have the employees should use approved systems and must not share credentials. Sensitive information should not be stored on unprotected personal device. See, there are some oil companies you go to. These laptops that have been given to them, for example, will not be used to do private work. It's only for the institution or the organization's work. If you make an attempt to use a laptop that has been given to you to do a private work, you will not have access, because they have already programmed the system to operate that way. And then devices should be locked when unattended, and confidential screens should not be visible to unauthorized persons. Even with our phones, you can see that sometimes when you are using your phone, you will see that somebody who is seated by your side is peeping into your phone. That is why they are using the blank, the dark screen, secure privacy in their, in their phones these days. And then remote workers should secure screens and physical documents. You are working remotely. That means you need to be extra careful to secure screen and physical documents. Again, regular backups are necessary, because you never can know when a system can pack up. So, like, if you're working with any system, you ensure that there is a backup. And you can send your work to the cloud, in the cloud, I mean. And so you can get it back at any time. And also, protocols should also govern artificial intelligence and automated tools. And then we get to the health, safety, and emergency protocols. The health, safety, and emergency protocols, we know that offices face fire, electrical, ergonomic, psychological, and security risks. Protocols should cover evacuation. See, there must be a muster point where if there is an incident of fire, outbreak of fire, that you will assemble all the workers so that their safety is guaranteed. They can be evacuated from that muster point. Whatever you are doing, you need to come out to be on the safe side. And then we also have another thing I want to mention here is that emergency exits and firefighting equipment should remain accessible. We must have it ready. Employees should also receive guidance on safe lifting, computer use, reporting workplace injuries. Immediately something happens, you need to report it. And then we have psychological safety should form part of office safety. Excessive workloads, intimidation, persistent humiliation can harm employees. even where no physical injury occurs. Psychologically, if a staff is being harassed, humiliated in the office, if that issue is not handled, it's going to affect the staff psychologically, and the person will not be able to perform the tasks assigned to him or her. And then we have complaints, grievance, and disciplinary protocols. Employees and clients need fair procedures for raising concerns. You know, I said a grievance protocol should identify where complaints are submitted, how they are acknowledged, who investigates, the expected timeline, confidentiality, protections, and available appeal, and then discipline. When you discipline one, you discipline the other. You don't discipline one because that person you assume, you presume, or you have taken that person as your enemy, and then the other person is your friend, you overlook. Discipline should go all round. And then we talk about ethics. We talk about the ethics, workplace ethics. Ethics consists of principles used to judge conduct as right, fair, responsible, or improper. Workplace ethics applies these principles to decisions and relationships arising in employment. It concerns not only what employees are legally permitted to do, but also what they ought to do in view of responsibilities or to the organization, colleagues, clients, and the society. Now we have the law. Policy and ethics overlap, but are not identical at all. Conduct may be legal, yet ethically doubtful, such as exploiting a loophole for personal advantage. You know, in the offices, if we are not very careful, you know, even the staff, the workers, they try to, you know, grab any loopholes to, you know, satisfy their personal needs. Ethical responsibility may also require action that is not expressly written, such as reporting a serious error before it causes harm. You know, all these things are considerations that we look at one way or the other. See, ethics is particularly important because office employees often exercise discretion. While protocol may not provide an exact answer for every situation. So therefore, an employee may need to decide how much information to disclose. Every employee, in fact, you must know how much information you must disclose. How to respond to a gift. You know, people will bring gifts to the office. They are giving you that gift because they want to extract information from you. We should be guided. Then, whether a personal relationship creates a conflict or how to treat an employee who has made an honest mistake. If an employee has made an honest mistake and you have investigated, there is a way that no, you consider that person because that honest mistake was not deliberate. And then we have workplace ethics is expressed through individual character. We know individual character. That's why the doctors, they have their professional ethics. Even the secretaries, they have their professional ethics. Even the military. In fact, every sector of life endeavor, they have their professional ethics. A written code is useful, but employees also observe what leaders reward, ignore, or punish. They are watching. The employees are watching the management. They are watching those who are in charge. and they are monitoring you, how you reward people, how you ignore the one that is meant to be punished, and how you punish the one that does not really deserve punishment. They are all watching. And then if we are applying ethics, we should know the do's and the don'ts. And then we have integrity and honesty. When you talk about ethics, integrity and honesty must come in. Integrity means consistency between stated values and actual conduct.
Hello, Prof.
It looks like the network has cut off the
Yes,
lecture.
Prof. We cannot. We stopped hearing her.
The network is very bad, though. I don't know what is going on.
Let's give her time. Maybe she will just log out and then come in again.
Okay, we hope so.
It's like network is better to do.
Dean.
Yes, sir.
Your network is flexing today. That's good.
Yes. Good morning, sir. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Dean.
Please note that this meeting is being recorded. Whatever you say on this call can see that Prof is back. Okay, thank you, Martha. Prof, are you back now?
The network just, locked
Yeah.
out completely. And
Yes.
so I'm so sorry. And so
Hey,
we're still talking about the ethics. And then I was talking about health and no, let's go to the confidentiality and privacy. You know, we are still on the ethics. We are still on the ethics. And okay, we are still on the attributes. That is what we were discussing. And now we'll be talking about the integrity and honesty. Integrity and honesty means that consistency between stated values and conduct must align. It must align. Otherwise, whatever we are doing is going to be in vain. You know, integrity does not mean employees never make errors. Yes, we are all humans. We will make mistakes one way or the other. It means errors are not concealed or dishonestly blamed on others. So when we make mistakes, if you are somebody with integrity, you will accept your mistake and do the needful. And then we have confidentiality and privacy. You know, that is to say that office employees handle personal, financial, commercial, and strategic information. See, if you have the power to handle information, it means that they trust you so much, they wouldn't want that information to be leaked to any person who is not connected to that information, who should not have access to that information. Confidentiality requires that information be accessed, used, and disclosed only for legitimate purpose. If somebody is asking for that information, it means that that information must be given out only for legitimate purpose. Technical access does not automatically create an ethical right to view a file. Curiosity is not authorization. Because you have access to that file does not mean that you extract information from that file. And then confidentiality covers conversations, printed documents. You know, when you have conversation with people and it's confidential, you need not to, you know, go and discuss with another person the conversation that you already have with that person. And then printed documents should be kept confidentially. Emails, passwords, photographs, meeting, and information visible on screen. It is only the information that you are permitted to let out that will go out to others. Otherwise, it remains in the organization. Employees should avoid gossip. You know, gossip has caused a lot of havoc in organizations, in the workplace. Employees should avoid it. And careless public discussions and unnecessary copying of sensitive materials. You know, all this should be avoided. Employees, I've been cut out again. Hello? And so
we can hear you, ma. We can hear you.
We can hear you, Prof. We can hear you, ma.
I'm so sorry. This system is just messing up. But since you can hear me, I will keep talking. And then we also say employees should respect privacy of colleagues. Employees should respect privacy of colleagues so that you don't have, you know, quarrels and misunderstandings in the organization. And then we are also saying that confidentiality should be, you know, absolute. It's not, no, confidentiality is not absolute. Disclosure may be required by law. That information that you are in charge of, if the law said you should give out that information, yes, then safety duties or an authorized investigation. If there is an investigation going on in your organization and they need that information, it should be given to the right people who are doing the investigation. And then ethical practice involves using the proper channel and sharing all the necessary information with persons who have a legitimate need to know. You don't give to just any and anyhow person, just the people who can use that information to better the organization, or like I said, for investigation reasons, you can let that information to be given out. And then we also have the accountability and responsibility. We also have accountability and responsibility. Accountability simply means being answerable for decisions, actions, and resources. Employees should employ what they did, why they did it, and under whose authority. Records, approvals, audit trails make such accountability possible. You must own that decision, that action, the resources that was given to you, how you expended that resources must be accounted for. And so we talked about some of these things, and they are very, 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 very important. And then we also have fairness. We also have fairness. We also have fairness. And when we talk about fairness, that is impartiality and non-discrimination. We are saying that fairness requires similar cases to be treated consistently. If two staff are having the same kind of issues, you have to treat them the same way consistently. You don't treat one different today, then you treat another better tomorrow. Consistency is required. And then while impartiality requires evidence and legitimate criteria rather than, other things, prejudice, bribery, relationships, or retaliation. In the office, we don't talk about retaliation, because when we are in the working place, when we are in an organization, an institution, we believe that we are one. Because if that institution makes progress, you are also progressing with it. But if there are issues, the issues are definitely going to affect each and every employee of that institution. I said these principles are important in recruitment. You are recruiting. Are you going to recruit that staff because that staff is your relative and you leave the one that is qualified for that job? No. Then promotion is the same. When you're assessing somebody for promotion, are you going to assess the person based on the effort the person has made, the jobs the person has done, and then you are trying to assess that person? There are some people, even we as lecturers, when we send papers, we have seen situations where a very colleague like yourself will want to mark you down. Reason, I don't know. No, those things are happening, and we are being told that those things are not right. And then training, if you are giving training to people, you should not give training to one particular set of people. At least you will rotate it. If this person has acquired that training now, another person should come on board. And also discipline. You discipline all the same. Then also any other thing, allocation of work, you distribute the work equally, evenly to each and every one. And then we have respect, dignity, and professional conduct. Respect is shown through your language. The way you listen, your punctuality. What time do you come to the office? If you respect the rules in the organization, you will be punctual to your duty. You will be at your duty post as at when you are meant to be there, except something happens. And then you will also relate what happens to your boss, whoever that is, in charge of your unit, so that you avoid issues. And then courtesy. you show courtesy, it demands that courtesy is shown. And then also you recognize your boundaries. There are some boundaries that are clearly demarcated. You don't encroach. Stay on your lane, respect your boundaries, and do your work as I be given to you. Professional conduct includes reliable performance, emotional control, and respectful use of authority. Reliable performance. Are you performing? You are in that office. You have been given this responsibility. Have you been performing? And then emotional control. You cannot just get angry easily, or you're offended easily, or anything that will affect you emotionally. You need to be able to control your speech, your actions, your behavior, everything that has to do with you as a human, as an employee in the organization. And respectful use of authority. You don't abuse authority. Yes, you are here today. Tomorrow you might not be there. No, we all know that power is transient. Even the jobs we are doing is transient. We are here today, tomorrow we might not be there. And so we should respect authority. And then seniority does not justify shouting at subordinates. You are the boss does not mean that you undermine the people who are under you. See, let me tell us, the way you work with some person who is under you, even the cleaners in your office, they will testify behind you that this person, in fact, is a good boss. Because if you think that because you are the boss and the cleaner means nothing, or the junior workers means nothing, you don't want to regard the opinion, you don't want to just, you toss them this way and that way, it will not end well. And those things we need to be careful about. Professionalism also involves punctuality, like I said, appropriate appearance. You don't come to the office looking as if you are going to the marketplace. No, there is a pattern of appearance, a pattern of looking like somebody who works in a recognized work environment. You don't wear clothes that are not ironed, clothes that are turned to the office. We are not saying that you buy the whole world. Even if it is one pair of trousers for the men and you have 4 shirts, you can be exchanging it to look neat and clean, look presentable. Like when we are recruiting people, appearance matters. Even when we have students coming for defense, as you are walking in, they've already assessed your appearance. All this is, so your appearance matters, as a professional in that field. And also fulfillment of commitment. You are there. You have been assigned a task. You must be dedicated to fulfill that commitment. And then employees should not make promises they cannot keep or represent themselves as having authority where they do not possess that authority. You do not have that authority now. So you do not have that authority now. So you should try to be on the level that you have. And then we have conflict of interest and use of resources. When we talk about conflict of interest arises where personal interest could influence official judgment. You don't bring your personal interest to come and manipulate official judgment. It may involve family relationships. Yes, that person is your family. You don't bring that judgment. Official matters are official matters. And then financial interest, gifts, outside employment or close association with supplier or applicants. Outside employment, there are some people that are keeping 2-3 jobs. When you are working in a particular place, you should focus on that place. If that place is not good enough and you are leaving, please leave honorably. You don't have to keep this job and keep the other job. There are people out there that are looking for jobs. So we need to, be committed to the cause for which we are there. And then we talk about, now we will go to, integrating, okay, we are already there, integrating the office management protocols. You know, when we talk about integrating office management protocols, we are saying that office management protocols and ethics are distinct, but inseparable. Yes, they are different. Somehow, they are standing on their own, but you cannot separate them. You cannot talk of office management protocols without bringing ethics into it. Protocols answer the procedural question. What steps should be followed? Those are the protocols. Ethics will answer the value-based questions. What is the responsible and fair way to act? Protocols without ethics can become instruments of concealment, favorism, or rigid injustice. Ethics without protocols may remain a good intention applied inconsistently. Ethics without protocols. So they work, hand in hand. An effective office combines clear procedures with principled judgment. That's why we talk about the records management and confidentiality. Records management illustrates the relationship between the two concepts. A protocol may establish access levels. That is what protocol does. Retention periods, filing methods, and disposal procedures, while ethics requires employees to respect those limits even when no supervisor is present. You must, respect those limits, even though there's nobody watching you. And then we have the communication and ethical judgment. See, the relationship also appears in communication. We know that is protocol and ethics. It also appears in communication. A rule may require official correspondence to pass through a supervisor. That is a rule. This requirement promotes coordination and prevents unauthorized statements. However, ethical judgment should prevent the supervisor from suppressing legitimate information to protect personal interest. That supervisor should not suppress legitimate information because he wants to protect himself. It's not acceptable. Accuracy is another point of connection. Communication protocols may require employees to verify information before sending it. See, if you are a communicator, you are representing your organization, and anything you sent out in error, in mistake, the outside, the public is going to be looking at your institution in that light. The errors that are sent out will come back to affect the organization. That is the reason why we need to verify every information before we are sending it out. Honesty requires them not to alter facts. Honesty requires them not to, alter the facts, omit relevant details, or intentionally create a misleading impression. And then we also have the procurement, finance, and conflicts of interest. See, in procurement, protocols may require quotations, evaluation, approval, delivery confirmation, and payment records. It is necessary. And these mentioned, items must be produced. Ethics requires evaluations, requires evaluators to declare personal relationships, reject bribery, and assess suppliers' impartiality. Impartially, you will assess the people who want to supply. The person is not coming to supply to your institution organization, even when you know that its prices are fairly higher than the other person who is bidding for it. But because of the relationship you want to bring that person, it is not acceptable. A dishonest employee may prepare every required form while secretly determining the successful supplier. A dishonest employee, you have made all the forms available, and then secretly you want a particular supplier. It should be stopped. It should not be allowed. The existence of completed paperwork does not prove ethical compliance. The quality, motivation, and impartiality of the decision must also be considered. That's your decision. You have to consider the quality, the motivation, and also discover there is no impartiality. And then we have meetings, minutes, and transparency. Of course, we know that in organization, in departments, in faculties, in the teaching environment and non-teaching staff, we know that meetings are being called in every organization. I said meeting procedures and ethics reinforce each other. Meeting procedures and ethics, they are helping each other. They are reinforcing each other. Agenda, time limits, and minutes improve order. But ethical participation requires honesty, respect, willingness to hear different views. See, if you are in a meeting, be willing to hear different opinions, different views. In any deliberation, people will have their own opinion. And then the best thing to be done is that we will come to a meeting point, hear out every opinion, and then come to a meeting point where you will now make concrete decisions involving each and every one, not keeping anyone outside. A chairperson should not silence participants because their opinion are inconvenient. See, if you are a chairperson, there are some meetings, when somebody wants to speak, the chairperson will just say, no, we are not going to take your viewpoint. No, it is not correct. Allow any person, at least you pick the number of people that will speak. It's not that all the people who attended that meeting must speak, but because some of the speaking, they are repeating what the other person has said. And so you pick the people that will speak. If it is 2 men, 2 women, they will hear their opinion. And then you work with that opinion. At the same time, participants should not use meetings to insult colleagues. There are some people that will go for a meeting. They already agree or are annoyed with what is happening or what they presume or assume that colleagues has done, and then they will go to the meeting to attack. We don't go to meeting to attack. No insults allowed. We don't spread rumors or delay decision unnecessarily. When it is time for decisions to be made, it should come without delay. And then we have the human resource management and fair treatment. You see, human resource procedures promote consistency in the recruitment, appraisal, promotion, and discipline. Then ethics ensures that criteria are genuine. The criteria for that employment are genuine and impartially applied. That is the ethics. If you are doing employment, recruitment, the criteria that is being used should not favor one and disfavor the other, should be at parallel line, should affect each and everybody the same way. An interview may appear technically correct, but remain unethical if the successful candidate was selected because the interviews, before the interviews began. If you have already chosen somebody to take that job before the interview is conducted, that is not right. And so we should avoid it. And then disciplinary protocols should protect both the organization and the employee. When you are disciplining somebody, a staff, an employee, you should also consider that it should protect the person and the organization. So let's look at the next thing that we should be looking at is the digital office management and digital office management. The digital office management and responsible technology. We know that digital technology has taken over our life, the entire universe. Everything is now digitalized. So digital work makes the combination of protocols and ethics even more important. Technology can enforce access levels, passwords, and approval workforce, but cannot replace responsibilities. We know that technology cannot replace responsibilities, but it can enforce access levels, passwords, and approval workflows. An authorized employee may misuse legitimate access by viewing private records. You don't view private records because you have access to those records, except those records are asked for and you are making it available to the right authority. To the right authority. And then information collected for security should not be casually used for unrelated personal or discriminatory purpose. That information that you have collected for security should not be used anyhow or, use it to attack. It's not allowed. And then we also have mistakes, accountability, and organizational learning. See, protocols and ethics shape the treatment of mistakes. You will agree with me that protocols and ethics shape the treatment of mistakes. A sound procedure requires reporting. When there are mistakes done, there must be a mechanism for reporting, investigation, correction, and prevention of reoccurrence. And, so that it cannot be allowed to reoccur. An ethical culture distinguishes good faith error from deliberate misconduct. Some things that will happen, it is not deliberate. It happens because we are all human. Human errors will come, but it's not something that will be happening every now and then. Maybe once in a while. And so we need to checkmate that. I said, where error produces humiliation or punishment, employees are likely to conceal information. See, if an honest mistake has been made or error, and then there's a way you will try to correct the error and then try to talk to the person so that the error should not happen again, and you start to humiliate or punish that person, it means that when they will conceal information, the organization then loses opportunities to correct weaknesses and learn from experience. We don't want that. No, we learn from experience each day. We try to correct, errors and mistakes. That is what we do. We learn from errors. So accountability should be firm but constructive. It has to be firm but constructive. And then we go to ethical leadership and protocol compliance. See, Leadership connects written procedures with general ethics of life. That is it, basic. You know, managers communicate priorities through their behavior. A supervisor who ignores document control, a supervisor who ignores document controls, discloses private information, or accept favors, from people out there and mess up the whole system. It's happening. And those are the things we are trying to avoid, that once you are in a leadership position, remember that it's not only the staff that's around you that are watching you, all eyes are on you. And so there are mistakes that you should not do deliberately. A leader who explains decisions, declares conflicts, follows approval limits, and accepts correction makes protocols credible. If you are that leader that you know that you can declare conflict, if there are conflicts, you say, yes, there's conflict there, you try to resolve it, and then you follow the approved limits and accept corrections, it means that there's credibility in those protocols. Employees are more likely to respect procedures when leaders apply them consistently to themselves and others. And so now, let's quickly go to the benefits of combining protocols and ethics. One benefit is that it improves efficiency and productivity. I say today, the combination of office management protocols and ethics enhances organizational efficiency by creating clear responsibilities, structured procedures, and predictable work process. Because you now understand what needed to be done, and therefore you have clear responsibilities, structured procedures, and predictable work progress. You know that because everything has been put in place, work will be done, very clearly. I say when employees understand their roles, reporting lines, they understand their roles and whom they are to report to, they are the reporting lines, and expected methods of completing tasks. If they understand how their work should be completed, less time is wasted. Less time is wasted seeking repeated instruction. They will not come back for instruction because it's clear to them. And so less time is wasted seeking repeated instruction or correcting avoidable mistakes. So ethical behavior further supports efficiency by encouraging employees to complete their duties honestly, responsibly, and with commitment to organizational goals. And then we'll go to consistency and fair decision-making. Protocols provide standard procedures that ensure similar situations are handled using similar approach. Yes, similar situation, something happens, similar. You use the same similar approach. While ethics ensure that these procedures are applied fairly and reasonably. Ethics is talking about fairness and, you being reasonable. The integration of both concepts reduces arbitrary decision-making, favorism, and personal bias in areas such as recruitment. You are not going to be biased when you are recruiting. You are not going to be biased when you are doing promotion. While you are disciplined, you are not going to do that. Procurement or service delivery, because you are following the ethics of what is there. Ethical judgment allows employees and managers to consider circumstances while still remaining organizational, while still maintaining the organizational standards. Whatever we do, that organization, that institution, the standard must be maintained. And then we have protection of organizational resources and information. Combining protocols with ethical values strengthen the protection of organizational assets. When people are abiding by ethics and, and the protocols, the rules, they will try to protect the organizational assets, including financial resources, equipment. They will not misuse the equipment. They will not misuse the finance that is coming in. The records are kept up to date, and confidential information is highly kept secretly. It will not be exposed. Protocols establish controls, such as authorization procedures, access restrictions, and documentation requirements. And then when we talk about ethics, we say that while ethics discourage employees from abusing these systems, ethics will tell you not to abuse your system. That is why a doctor who is a doctor recognized, well-trained, he has his professional ethics, he will not expose whatever he has discovered in a patient and share it with any other person, even except the patient will say, okay, share this information. If not, it remains there. And that is the way it is. See, together, protocols and ethics, they reduce the risks of fraud, information leakage, misuse of resources, and damage to organizational reputation. And then we have building trust and positive workplace responsibilities. See, when we work in an organization, definitely we are going to build trust. If I'm working with you and there is no trust, there is no way we can achieve the organizational objectives. A workplace where established procedures are supported by ethical conduct encourages trust among employees, managers, customers, and other stakeholders. That is just it. There's nothing to be taken out, there's nothing to be added. Employees are more likely to cooperate when they believe decisions are made fairly. See, your employees will agree with you, they will work with you, they will give their best if they discover that decisions are made fairly. Confidential information is not, brought to the open. You need to respect confidential information. And also, management acts responsibly. Then there will be no issues. And then similarly, customers develop greater confidence in organizations that demonstrate honesty. A customer will want to do business with any institution, organization, if they have discovered that there is honesty. And then professionalism and accountability in their operations. They discover that, yes, you are very professional when it comes to this official matter. And then you are able to be accountable. And then operations will go smoothly. Then let's look at strengthening organizational continuity and stability. See, protocols and ethics contribute to continuity by ensuring that important knowledge, decisions, and responsibilities are properly documented rather than depending solely on individual employees. See, that employee that is there, one day that person will leave. But if you have documented everything that needed to be documented, your decisions, your responsibility, it will be there even when the staff is no longer there. Clear procedures allow new employees to understand their duties and enable the organization to maintain operations during staff changes. When the staff is not there, when one boss is leaving that department, there should not be a break. There should be seamless, workflow in that department, because the information is there in the archive, is there, is stored. We are talking about digital operations now. So we cannot say it's manual system, so the file is missing. File cannot miss. It should be online. it should be somewhere. Then emergencies or technical challenges can be handled. Ethical practices further ensure that organizational knowledge, and resources are transferred responsibly and protected for long-term success. Because if you don't have this, you may not have long-term success. Because anytime somebody is taking over the office, you are going back to start from the step one. It will not make any success. You know, you have to follow like a building block. You put the first block, you build on top until a building is completed. Okay, let's go to the next, the challenges. Yes, we know that there are challenges in applying office protocols and ethics. So what can we do while we have these challenges? You know, number one, I say gap between written policies and actual practice. That is the number one. That is a challenge. The gap between written policies and actual, you have the policies written. Are you following it practically? Are you following it? It's one of the major challenges in implementing office protocols and ethics is the difference between documented procedures and their actual application in the daily operations. You have said that this is how we are going to do the business. Are you following it? That documented information that you have. Are you following it in your daily operations? Some organizations develop detailed manuals and policies that are either copied from other institutions or created. You know, if your institution and the other institutions are similar, your organization and the other organizations are similar, you know, you can also look into what, you know, they are using, and then you apply it. There are times you adopt, there are times you adapt, you know, that is life. You will do that. And then some organizations, you know, like I said, you may create your own entirely. You will say, no, this is the way we want to operate without considering organization size. If you create your own without considering the organization size, available resources, technology, and workplace, that is a challenge. Everything we do in our organization, we must consider the available resources that we have. We must also consider the technology and the workflow. If we are not doing that, it's a big challenge. I say when procedures do not reflect workplace realities, when those procedures that we have are not reflecting the workplace reality, what is happening in the workplace, employees may view them as impractical and develop informal methods or shortcuts to complete their tasks. When they discover that they are not following the procedure, they will do anything to get their tasks done, which is not right in an organization. And then such practices can weaken accountability because you are not following the laid down procedures and create inconsistency in administrative process. Therefore, office protocols should be developed based on actual organizational needs and should involve input from employees who will apply them. Of course, even the technology that we are saying that technology is everywhere, even in our offices, you cannot bring in a technology that is not useful to your organization. You only bring in a technology that will work, that will bring progress, that will bring development to your organization. You know, technology is not cheap, expensive, and so you follow that pattern. And then we also have, the next thing we have is inconsistent enforcement of rules. The next thing we have is inconsistent enforcement of rules and standards. Another significant challenge is the inconsistent applications of office rules and ethical standards. If the office rules and the ethical standards are not, are not applied consistently, there's an issue. when senior employees, that is, and the managers, you know, they favor an individual. Why? Because that individual is a friend to him, is a problem. The credibility of organizational policies is reduced. The credibility of the organizational policy at that point is reduced. And so selective enforcement creates perceptions of unfairness. If you are doing selective, you know, enforcement of the rules, of the procedures, of ethics in your organization, it means that they are going to see it, the workers are going to see it as an unfairness to them, and may, you know, encourage the employees to disregard established standards. In fact, that means you are telling them that they should just disregard the established standards in the organization. So for that, protocols and ethical principles, to be effective, they must apply equally across all levels of the organization. You must apply them to all levels, from the bottom to the top. And again, we also have inadequate training and awareness. The absence of adequate employee training can limit effectiveness of office protocols and ethical standards. See, when you employ staff, you make room for training. As long as you are not making room for training, it means that the work you expect the staff to do is not going to come out the way you expect it, because they should be aware of the changes that are taking place. Every day, changes are happening, and they should be aware of those changes. Providing employees with handbook or policy document alone does not guarantee understanding or compliance. You give them handbook. Do you think how many people go back to read the handbook? And so that will not mean that they are going to comply to whatever. Many workplace situations require employees to exercise judgment. That is basic, particularly regarding confidentiality, conflict of interest, digital security, and professional behavior. And then we also have rapid technological changes and digital challenges. Like I said earlier, technology is changing. In fact, the technology that is on now, every day is changing. It's changing every now and then. And then these changes also come with challenges. The rapid development of technology has created new challenges for office management protocols and ethics. We now know that remote work arrangements, cloud-based systems, artificial intelligence application, and personal digital devices often develop faster than organizational policies can be updated. See, and so you need to update your organizational policies in line with the technology that is revolving. It's evolving. Our technology is evolving. New things are coming on board. New ways of doing things are coming on board. Like when you come to office management, like I said that before, we were talking about supervising clerical staff, filing, usually use the typewriter. We are past that era, and we are moving so fast with a speed that every institution, every organization must embrace. In the past, no, we were doing results manually. We do manually, but now results are done, online. Once you put in the score, they will compute both the CGPA and everything, and then the student will go online to see their result. That is to tell you that technology is moving very fast, and then we are trying to, curtail all these things and face the challenges, run with the challenges to make use of, the digital and the rapid technologies that we have now. And then fear of retaliation, and weak reporting system. Effective ethical management requires employees not just reporting the person because you hate the person. You are in a situation that that's reporting and the misconduct. Then errors or workplace concern. However, fear of retaliation often prevents employees from reporting issues such as fraud. Sometimes they will see the fraud that is ongoing. They don't want to report it because they say, if I do, maybe they will sack me. Maybe they will attack me. The fear is there. So they will not report. Harassment happening in the organization. The men are harassing the women. The women are also harassing. Some of these things they cannot report. Discrimination or safety violations, they are all there. Employees may worry about losing their jobs. That is the reason. And then damaging the relationship. They say, I beg, I don't want to be a bad person before my supervisor. Let me just remove my... Those are the things that are causing issues. Because when there is an error, when there is a fraud, when there is a harassment, if you can report those things and they handle it, they discuss it, they investigate it, and then settle that matter, then every person will work in harmony. I'm saying that where reporting systems are controlled only by individuals who may be involved in the complaint, employees may lack confidence in the process. If I'm coming to report something and I know that you are the one in charge and what you say is final, it means that staff will not come. That is a big challenge. Organizations should therefore establish confidential, accessible, and independent reporting mechanisms that protect individuals. Issues with some armed forces, some forces, and or you saw something and you report, when the issues are in the open, those people that confidentially you have reported this information will mention your name and those criminals will come after you. Those things are not right. That person who is the whistleblower should be protected. That person who is making that report genuinely should be protected. And then we also have poor leadership. We have poor leadership and lack of ethical examples. Leadership behavior strongly influences workplace culture. That is it. You cannot talk about leadership and not talk about culture. A major challenge occurs when managers demand strict compliance from employees but fail to follow the same protocols themselves. You want the employees to do the right thing. You should also do the right thing. Because as long as you are telling them to do the right thing and you are not doing it, they will not follow it. When leaders ignore procedures, misuse authority, or engage in unethical practices without consequences, employee may conclude that personal relationships and positions are more important than organizational standards. See, ethical leaders requires managers to demonstrate. Ethical leadership requires managers to demonstrate integrity. If you are a manager, if you are holding any position, you must demonstrate integrity, accountability, fairness through your own actions. And then leaders must not only communicate expectations, but also model the behavior they expect from others. Don't just, communicate, this is what we want from you. You need to model their behavior. You see, we have leaders that cannot say even to that person who is the cleaner in your office. Thank you, you are trying. You know, you see the motivation that most of the people they need is just to hear the boss saying, thank you, you have done well. You know, that is good enough. And so we need to follow that. Then we have limited organizational resources. We know that resources are always limited. We know that we have limited organizational resources. Resources limitations can also affect the successful implementation of office protocols and ethics. That is basic, because whatever we will do in the organization, in fact, even as individuals, resources must come. Then small organizations may lack specialized personnel, such as record managers, compliance officers, cybersecurity specialists, or independent complaint investigators. You know, there are some people that, you know, their specialty is cybersecurity. You need to bring in those people, you know, and you also need to bring people that can investigate, complain, and bring out the truth in that complaint. They may also have limited funds for maintaining technology and monitoring systems. See, I say technology is not cheap. And then it will also have systems, monitoring systems. You see that if you have CCTV around your institution, around your organization, whatever that is happening, you will be seeing what is happening, you know, and that technology is not cheap, but then it's required. We need to have it. However, limited resources should not mean the absence of proper controls. Yeah, the resources are limited. It does not mean that there should be no proper control. No matter how meager the resources are, there must be a form of proper control. Organizations can design simple but effective procedures that match their size while maintaining essential standards of accountability, security, and professionalism. And then we also have the cultural and personal differences. See, the people that are working in an organization, we have personal differences, we have cultural differences. And so you need to consider that workplaces often consist of individuals from different cultures, social and professional backgrounds. These differences may influence employees' understanding of issues such as gift giving, authority, privacy, communication styles, and workplace relationships. That is basic. People are coming from different, you know, background, different culture. So there are some people living in Nigeria that, you know, when they greet with humility. You know, they can, you know, go down and greet. But some cultures, they just stand and they will greet, you know, things like that. And then you consider all these cultures, all the way they do their things, which is very, very important. I am saying that clear standards are necessary to prevent practices such as bribery. See, bribery comes in most times a very subtle way. That is why we should be careful what we receive, what we get, because you never can tell whether that gift you are receiving is a bribe. And once you have taken that, that means you will need to abide by what you have taken and do what the person is expecting of you, which is not right, which is a challenge. Discrimination, we don't discriminate. Harassment should be stopped. Misuse of authority should be stopped. And unfair treatment from being justified as cultural differences. All these are there for us. And then let's go to strategies for strengthening office protocols and the ethics. What can we do? We have been talking, we have seen most of the things that are happening, which we know. And so then what can we do to strengthen office protocols and the ethics in the workplace, in the organization, in the institution? We say developing clear and practical office protocol. Organizations can strengthen office management by creating protocols that are clear, relevant, and easy for employees to understand. And then we also said that each protocol, each procedure should explain its purpose. You know, it must explain the purpose, scope, responsible persons, required steps, documentation required, then appropriate processes and methods for handling exceptions. And then we also have integrating ethical values into daily office activities. That is it. We need to integrate the ethical values into daily office activities. Remember that we work in the office, and then let's integrate. Ethical principles should not remain general statements displayed in organizational documents. No, it should go beyond that. They should be connected directly to workplace activities and decision-making processes. For example, employees should understand how integrity applies to financial reporting. The employee should be made to understand that integrity is connected to financial reporting. How confidentiality applies to customer records or staff records, that you must keep confidential. You don't bring it out except it is required by the rightful authority. And how fairness applies to recruitment and promotion decisions. Yes, you must play fairly to promotions and decisions, you know, recruitment and promotion decisions. Ethical guidelines should address issues such as acceptance of gifts. Don't take gifts anyhow, so that you will not be choked when they come back because they are giving you gifts. They want you to do the wrong thing. How can you say no if you have already collected the gift? So we should avoid that. Then conflicts of interest should be avoided. Use of organizational resources for things that are not pertaining to your work should be stopped. Social media behavior and handling of confidential information. And then the next one is providing continuous training and professional development. You see, I say we can never stop training. If your organization is not training you, you the individual, find a way to train yourself to improve yourself, because you never can tell. Regular training is essential for ensuring that employees understand both procedures and ethical expectations. Training should move beyond explaining rules and should include practical scenarios that employees may encounter. And then examples may include responding to a wrongly sent confidential email. If you send an email that's meant to be confidential wrongly, how are you going to tell your organization? How are you going to amend that situation? Dealing with a supplier offering gifts, because that supplier is giving you gifts, so that is the one you want to patronize. Other people you will keep aside, even though their prices and their products are better. Handling an aggressive visitor or reporting a request to falsify records, you know, then managers should receive additional training in leadership. You must get training in leadership, delegation, when to delegate. And when you delegate a task to somebody, you also give the person a level of responsibility. Investigation, communication, conflict resolution, and so on. We also have establishing safe reporting and feedback mechanism. See, organizations should create reporting systems that allow employees to raise concern without fear of retaliation, like I said earlier. Make the avenue that, yes, so they are reporting, but then they will not be dealt with in the wrong way. Let fear be taken away from the heart so that they can tell you what is happening. Employees should have access to confidential advice, and alternative reporting channels where normal chain of command may create difficulties. If the employee cannot access the right channel, there should be an alternative way for the person to, available for the employee. Complaints should be acknowledged promptly. When they complain, please acknowledge it. When you receive a letter, acknowledge it and then investigate it objectively and handle with appropriate confidentiality. And then we also have promoting ethical leadership and accountability. Leadership accountability is essential for maintaining ethical standards. Leadership accountability is very, very essential for you to maintain ethical standards. Managers should evaluate not only on financial performance or productivity results, but also on the method used to achieve those results. See, if you are working and you are making progress, yes, we are seeing the progress, then they should also evaluate how you get to that such progress that you are making, so that if you are following the wrong way, you can be directed to follow the right path. And then we also have using technology to improve control and transparency. No, technology is everywhere, like I said. Technology can strengthen office protocol when properly managed. Organizations can improve accountability through the technology that we are talking about, these systems, such as role-based access control. You have the electronic approval workflows. You also have document version tracking. You also have the audit records, and you have the secure backup systems. And then we also have the monitoring and reviewing office procedures. And so we talk about the protocols should not remain unchanged after they are created. Organizations should regularly evaluate whatever procedures are achieving their intended objectives. Let there be reevaluation. Then monitoring may include reviewing response times, unresolved correspondence, missing records. You need to monitor these things. When there are mails that are not replied, information that you are expecting that is not coming, you need to monitor. There should be a follow-up. However, measurement should focus on improvement rather than encouraging employees to manipulate statistics to appear successful. See, if you manipulate statistics to appear successful, that you're making progress, at the end, it will not all go well. It will not. Something will happen that will take you back to where you have passed. And then we want to make progress, so we should be very careful. And then we have strengthening internal controls through separation of duties. Separation of duties. Separating responsibilities is an important strategy for reducing errors and misconduct. Where possible, no single employee should control every stage of an important financial or administrative transaction, period. See, if you allow one person to control the movement of finance, anything can happen. So at every stage, there must be, a checkmate, a kind of control, so that everything will work to the benefit of the organization and not to individuals. I said, where limited staffing makes complete separation impossible, additional managerial review or periodic audit can provide alternative safeguards. If you think that the staff strength is not enough, then you have to do it, periodically. If it is something that you were doing once a year, you can do it quarterly, or you can do it in every 6 months, so that you see that everything is working according to plan. And then applying fair and proportionate consequences. I say effective protocols require appropriate response when violations occur. See, when there are violations, there should be appropriate response immediately. Minor mistakes may require guidance. When somebody has made minor mistakes, you can guide the person, you can counsel the person, or you can give the person additional training. But the deliberate ones, such as fraud, harassment, or unauthorized disclosure, may require formal disciplinary action. Yes, so that others watching will not repeat it. And then consequently, consequences should be consistent. The consequences should be consistent. That is what we should do. Evidence-based and proportionate to the seriousness of the conduct. What you will get out of that, your misbehavior, should be related to, equated to that punishment that you are going to receive. And then we have the continuous improvement and updating of protocols. See, office protocols should be reviewed whenever there are significant changes in technology. Yes, anytime there are changes in technology, you go back to review the office protocols, those things, so that you have the organizational structure and workplace practices, those things that will make the work to flow effectively and efficiently. Employees should have access to current versions of policies, while outdated documents should be removed to prevent confusion. If you have updated anything in your organization, the old version should be removed so that people will not go mistakenly thinking that maybe they will now have the old one, thinking that it's the new one. So we should be very careful about it. And so far so good. We are now getting to the conclusion of today. In conclusion, I'm saying that office management is the coordinated administration of people, information, resources, and processing in support of organizational objectives. Its effectiveness depends on planning, organization, staffing, direction, coordination, and control. Office protocols translate these functions into procedures covering communication, records, workflow, meetings, visitors, security, safety, etc. And then workplace ethics provides the moral foundation for applying these procedures. That is integrity, confidentiality, accountability, fairness, respect, professionalism, and avoidance of conflict of interest by the employees where rules are clear. Authority may be abused or personal interest competes with official responsibility. So protocols create consistency, but ethics ensure that consistency serves legitimate human resource purpose. I want to add by saying that strong organizations do not choose between efficiency and ethical conduct. No. Long-term efficiency depends on trust, accurate information, fair decisions, and responsible use of resources. When protocols and ethics operate together, the office becomes a dependable system through which the organization demonstrates competence, accountability, and respect Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma, for this beautiful and wonderful lecture.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Prof.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, my Prof.
Thank you, Prof.
A
Thank
wonderful
you.
one.
Thank you very much.
At this time, I think we'll go into the question and answer session.
Okay.
Dr. Fatima, if you are around, please. You can take over
Hello,
now.
Prof, sir. I am here. Thank you so
Okay.
much, Prof. You have given us a very interesting, insightful, informative, and highly educating webinar. It's a brilliant presentation. Thank you so much, Prof. You really touched on a lot of issues, and some of them are really, really relatable. And I am happy to also inform you that the webinar, the lecture was recorded and being live streamed right now on YouTube. So that we will have the opportunity of sharing the recording with our staff, especially the administrative registry and the entire university community. We get to listen to you over and over again, and we can also use the recording as a reference point whenever the need arises. Thank you so much, Prof, for taking out time to share from your wealth of experience with us this morning. Thank you. Or rather this afternoon. You actually started your lecture in the morning and now it's afternoon. So thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. All right. So this is the question and answer session. Please, if you have any question, simply unmute and then ask. If you would prefer to drop, and then I'll read it from there, or you may simply unmute and then ask your question now, please. Thank you. So while we wait for questions, the attendance link is there. We shared it earlier. We are going to drop the link again. So check the chat box. You see a link for attendance. It is very important, please, that you fill the attendance register so that we can share Prof's slides and the recorded meetings with you. So please fill the attendance sheet, please. Thank you. All right, so I'm going back to the participants list to see if there's any hand, any question for Prof. Okay, and then the chat box.
My hand is up, man.
Okay, so we have Dr. Uchenna Eziogu. All right, go ahead, sir, please.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Prof, for this wonderful lecture. Actually, I learned a lot, but there are a few things I want to draw your attention to and see if there is any way you can connect and link them up. You know, when you in fact, the lecture is quite in order, perfect from my own perspective. But I'm now looking at it from this angle, considering human nature, what man is. There is this popular Latin saying that says that in a sound body, there is a sound mind. You know, things you are saying are things meant for sound minds. Now, how do we relate organizational inefficiency that is from the part of staff? How can we relate it to the problem of, lack of welfare support from the part of management? You know, because most times the way I look at it is, most of us, all other things being equal, when things are normal, we will definitely do the right thing and stand on it. But imagine a situation where a lot of things, people are suffering in pain and things are not properly done. In fact, things are not properly done within the context of their welfare. And this issue of corruption, maybe there is somebody else who is ready to, at least give you small something that will help you ease your pain. You see that it will become difficult. So, is there a relationship between corruption in, a kind of public service and poor welfare. How can we solve or address this kind of problem? Because most times, if people are properly, remunerated and they are given what is due to them, I'm telling you that majority will stand on the right thing and do the right thing. But in a situation where you are doing the right thing and you are dying doing it, how can we connect it? That is a kind of the responsibility of the management and the responsibility of the staff. Because what I saw in the lecture is more like what the staff ought to do. But is there any part from their own angle? Is there what they can do?
Okay, thank you, Dr. Uchenna. Your network is dragging. Hello, can anyone hear me?
Okay, can I respond to him?
All right, Dr.
Okay.
Uchenna, we got your question. Please, can you mute? Admin, please mute Dr. Uchenna's microphone. We got the question. Prof, I hope you also got his question, ma.
Yes, but then the network at the ending part, it was going bad. But
Okay, I think, okay. Would you
let me-
like to take all questions, or you want to respond to each of the questions?
Okay, let's get the questions. That is
All right, ma'am. Okay, so Dr. Uchenna was asking the relationship between staff welfare and organizational duties, the part of the management playing their role as it regards welfare, and then how it in turn affects staff discharge of duties. So he just wants you to marry the two in terms of roles and responsibilities of staff and that of the management, and how it eventually translates to organizational efficiency and reduce corruption. Okay, so I have a question, ma, from the chat box, and it's from Prince Joseph Okporu. I hope I did not murder that name. Prince Joseph wants to know, how can NMU transition from physical paper / printed document verification of staff files to digital verification of document, so as to avoid the burden of printing hundreds of CV copies, journal articles, and professional certificates, especially during appointments and promotion meetings. So Prince is asking what your advice would be for NMU to transition from physical printed document verification of staff files to digital verification of document. Okay, and then there's another hand up. Let me see if the hand is still up. I'm going back to the participant list. Okay, so I can't find the hand anymore. All right, Prof. Ma, please go ahead.
okay.
2 questions.
Okay, the first question, Dr. Uchenna was asking, how we are going to align, considering human nature, how can we relate these protocol issues from lack of support and welfare from the part of management? You see, when we talk about ethics, ethics cannot be compromised. But what we do is, because government or management is not doing the needful, does not mean that you are going to compromise, the good work that you are doing, maybe to get some bribes or some gifts from people. Is not proper. What we do is we discuss with management regularly and tell them that this is where we have improvements. Like right now, if you ask me, if you don't mind, in my university, in my state, we have been talking with the state government concerning CATA that was approved in December. No, that's our welfare. And also, there are some kind of things that they were supposed to have done, which have not been done. We've been talking. And now we have gotten to the point. Our talking with the government does not mean that we are going to soil our hands and now go outside of ethics. We are doing our normal work, talking with government, telling the government that you accept you do this now, we've had enough. We are going to, lay down our tools for a period until you do that. And so if it is a sensitive government will now say, okay, let's do it, because these things we are asking, they are not too much. See, the workers in that institution, the workers in organization has responsibility to take care of. And then if the management and the government is not meeting up, in fact, it causes chaos. But that does not mean that because you are discussing with government, you are discussing with management, and they are slow in responding, you are going to do the otherwise. You are putting ethics aside. You are putting everything that makes the work to go, and you begin to put your hands into fraud. Let me tell you, the day you are caught, they will not know that you have endured the process. All they will say is that you have been caught doing fraud and you are going to be dealt with. We never wanted disgrace. We don't want disgrace, to ourselves, to our organization. That is the reason why we need to deliberate. We need to discuss with the people in authority to understand our plight and also come to our rescue and do the needful unto us. But to put ethics aside and now do things that will not bring respect, bring honor to the institution or to yourself. Because when you are caught, you'll be brought to the public. And it's going to be a disgrace to us as individuals, to our families. So, all we need to do is to ensure that government provides those things that we need that will make our work, to be successful, while the organization is also making progress. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Now the second question, ma.
Okay, the second question, if I'm not mistaken, he said, how can MMU, is it?
That's correct, ma.
Okay, migrate from traditional, platforms to the digital. I say there is a concept called paperless office. We know that. And that is the reason why now you are doing interviews. Most times it's online. You are submitting application. You don't carry physical application to offices to drop these days. You submit online. The form is there. You fill it, you submit. When it is time for interview, they will call you. Interviews are done online. I am saying that this concept says, this concept does not, instigate the complete migration from printed documentation to digital documentation. Rather, it reduces the dependability or dependable nature of printed documents to, balance with the digital. We still do some few, things that we do in the past before the digital platform came on board. But now most of the things we are doing is digital. Okay, we are having this training now. We are not on ground. We are here and we are communicating. We are talking about it. It's because of the opportunity technology has given to us that we can have this training online. And so day by day, offices are becoming paperless. If you go to some hospitals now, they don't need a physical file to be carried from one doctor's table to the other. Once they put your information on the system, everything about you will be displayed. And so the doctor who is attending to you is also looking at his system, and everything is programmed in that matter. And so it is not too difficult to transit from the paper offices that we used to do to the digital platform, because we are moving with the technology that we are having right now. It is not It is not out, it is not out of, reach. We are doing it. It is not out of reach, but gradually we are getting to full digitalization of everything we do in the office. See, let me tell us, like in the past now, in my university, for example, when we do produce results, we will paste, we'll print out a copy after doing it manually. We'll print out a copy, we'll paste it on the wall. Then students will come and check it. Some students will look at it, and if they fail, they will tear the whole paper on the wall. But now that cannot happen because we have gone online. No student is going to see the other person's result. If the results are inputted and the results are, the students are enabled to view their results and print, it's your individual own, you will print. And that is where we are now. And we cannot go back to the former side. It's a gradual process, but we are making progress. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you, Prof, for that brilliant response. That is actually what universities are doing now, moving gradually towards digitization. And permit me, Ma, to also share this experience from my institution. During promotions, gone are the days where you'll be required to drag your publications in hard copy in Ghana Must Go in a bus, and then you drag it to your department or to Senate or to your faculty for appraisals. Now we leverage institutional repository. All your publications should be on the repository.
Yes.
So all they do during AMPC is when it's your turn, they type your name and your publications comes up, and then they confirm it. They click it and it takes them to the publisher's website and all that. And you are being appraised there and then. No single paper. Nobody is dragging publications anymore. Repositories are being leveraged to do all that. So there's very minimal amount of paper you see in circulation. Maybe the summary or something. That's all they need. And I think that NMU is already moving towards that direction. We already have a repository, and then there are other digitization initiatives that are coming up. And I'm sure that gradually we also eventually limit the numbers of copies of CVs and all that, that our staff will have to do during appraisals. Thank you so much, Prof. Ma. Thank you, Ma. So I don't know if there's any other question. I'm not seeing any in the chat box. And I am not seeing any hands up, so I'll call on my prof, the provost of Okorenkuku and the dean of PG School, Professor Bariweni, to take it up from here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Fatima. And thank you so much, guest lecturer, for the wonderful presentation you have made today. We really appreciate. Before we take the closing remarks from our registrar, we have with us the desk officer from ICPC. I don't know whether she has a word for us. Madam Dora, if you'd like to say something, please, you can come up and just 1 or 2 minutes, briefly. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Thank you. I've been here actually. And I am not really the desk officer of NMU. I'm just the acting supervisor for Delta State. But NMU has a desk officer. It's like He's online also. He's online and listening.
Okay.
I want to thank the prof very much for a very enlightening lecture. And I hope everyone present will not just hear, but apply everything he has said. And I want to also encourage the ACTU members, apart from just preaching, your lifestyle, your actions, and activities that you do in the university to show other staff members, not just what you are saying. You should show that you are also doing it. Madam Linda, is she here? I know I saw her earlier.
Madam Dora, I'm here.
Okay. Please, your activities should show that anti-corruption fight is taken seriously in the university.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, VC, Madam Dr. Flora, for arranging this. It's very good, and I hope you guys will do it regularly, and get down on the anti-corruption talk. I know ethics is okay, but every staff member should understand that there is a policy on anti-corruption in the university. Not just ethics. Ethics is okay, but the anti-corruption drive should increase by the actual members. Thank you very much. It's a very enlightening program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. At this time, we now call on registrar, amiable registrar, to give us the closing remarks. Registrar, sir. Registrar, if you can hear us, please, your closing remarks, sir.
Okay, the registrar will address us shortly. He is online.
Yeah, good afternoon, the Vice Chancellor, resource person, Professor Eke, the Dean, Project Program, and the Dean, Okagogo Main Campus, the organizers, principal officers, and everyone. I greet you. Good afternoon. I am so happy to be part of this program this morning and this afternoon. It's truly an eye-opening one. Since we resumed duty last year, June, we have been trying to see that we organize workshop of this nature for our staff, particularly registry staff. So last week, I met with some head of divisions and units in the registry to look at a possible workshop that we'll have next month, August. So I've already put up a committee to plan, and the report will be ready tomorrow, Wednesday. Then I will see my VC and discuss it over with her for us to have it physically. And I'm so overwhelmed that our resource person has done justice to the topic for today. And I want to beg that when we knock your door, it should open for us to be available to take us physically. Let's feel you physically. Then before we now do subsequent webinars on training. I promise the staff I met with last week that it will be a continual thing. Even though the school doesn't have enough money to help us, we'll go out and look for money And on a yearly basis, we must have one physical and all-embracing workshop to train and to retrain our staff in the industry to be able to carry out their duties effectively. So I'm truly happy to be part of this program, and we'll explore more of these programs subsequently. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Prof, are you online?
Yes.
Hello, Professor Perekibina, are you there? Dr. Linda?
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Prof. Good afternoon, doctors. I want to specifically say thank you to our amiable Vice Chancellor, Professor Oluwafemi, who has always been there to support us, and also to our big brother and registrar who just spoke. Please, am I being heard?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. To our big brother and registrar, Dr. Paul Bebenimbo, for always being supportive as well. And to our intelligent and hardworking librarian, we want to say thank you for this platform. If not for this platform, it would have been difficult for us to have our resource person with us. And to Professor Bariwani, I call him the tech professor, and the entire Act 2 members. Without you, I can't be a chairperson. And I want to say we are just starting with our drive, even like our ICPC watchdog, Madam Dora, has mentioned, that the drive for anti-corruption and a lot more we are still going to be doing on campus. Because I want to say, we know there are so many issues relating to corruption even from the student level to the staff. It doesn't have to be with just staff entirely. The students educationally and otherwise. And we know that we have a lot to do. And also to our wonderful resource person, my prof, we are very grateful. Even upon this short notice, you answered us. You came up and you delivered a very good one. We're very grateful to you, ma. We want to say thank you very much. To our desk officer, Mr. Eko Kemena, we want to say thank you as well for being online and for listening. And to the entire staff, we want to say thank you. Thank you very, very much. But we also want to say we should go back, not just listening, please. It's important for us to go back to our offices, for us to be able to carry out what we have learned. And I want to say that it is timeless. This particular lecture we have had today is a very timely one for us within our institution. I want us to go back and make sure we assess it every day in our offices. I want to say thank you very much to everyone. Thank you very, very much. We are so grateful. And have a blessed day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So at this time, we take the university anthem, and then we also take the national anthem to close. So the university anthem. All hail Nigeria Maritime University. Want to go?
No.
All hail
Nigeria Maritime University.
A citadel of learning for students and professionals. Can waterways, developing human capacity, skills, patriotism and courage. An institution of excellence. Maritime global economy. Peaceful congregation of scholars sailing through the marine waves,
Sailing through the world.
The national anthem. Nigeria, we are on the native. No tribe can make in brother we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve and sovereign for the land. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Thank you, everyone.
God bless you all.
Thank you, sis.
Thank you.
Bless you too, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye.
Mm.